relax. All you have to do inside is relax when the mind says I want and the mind says I don't want. However it says it, your response is relax. You just relax. At first it's very difficult because you think you're giving something up. You think you'll miss something. It does not take long before you realize, hey, this is nice. I don't have to do that. I don't have to run after every single thing it says. I don't have to run away from everything it says. And you're going to find out nothing happens. You're fine. It's not true that you didn't jump and run like an idiot because it said something bad was going to happen. Instead, you relaxed and nothing happened. You don't understand? 99% of the things your mind says are going to happen that are bad don't happen. But they did make you uptight. They made you uptight because it said it. You worried about it. You got anxious and it didn't happen. So what would happen if you just relaxed? Then a whole percentage of the time you'd be fine when you weren't. And 99% of the time that the mind says, I want that, I have to have that, I got to get that. You either really don't want it once you get it, or you're not going to get it anyways. So you get disappointed, you get resentment, and so on. And instead, you start feeling, what's that word? Oh, peace. You trade neurosis for peace. Why would I feel peace? Because you're not running around like a chick with your head cut off inside, getting scared and getting anxious and all that. You just relax. All right. So that's the second phase of deep spirituality, is you actually do it. You actually let go of your mind. You just let it go. And you're going to find out, you'll come talk to me and say, I'm shocked. It's true. The vast majority of every single thing the mind says is completely irrelevant. Nothing changes except I'm better off. All right? I'm not as anxious as I was, and I'm more at peace. And the world still goes about its business exactly like it did. Nothing was changing. My mind was just driving me nuts. All right, good. Now the third step, relax deeper. Just relax and be aware of what you're experiencing, where you end up when you relax. Don't try. It's not effort. It's just experiencing. Like, look in front of you right now, what's in the room. Look. How hard is it to see it? It's effortless. You see what's in front of you. That is spirituality. There is no effort here. You relax and you see what you're seeing when you relax. And at some point, I'm telling you what you're going to see. You see something very beautiful. Because you are beautiful. You are. Not your mind, not your personality. You, the one who's in there when you relax, are very beautiful. And you will start to experience that beauty. People call it light. People call it love. People call it joy. I don't care. Spirit, Shakti, Chi, any word you want to use. You will start to experience beauty inside because that's what's there. Now you go to the next phase of your journey. Once you start to experience something very beautiful inside, you will realize that's what I was looking for. I wanted to have a state of well-being. Here it is. I feel fine. As long as I don't get involved in what the mind is saying to get what I want and avoid what I don't want, I'm happy. I'm fine. And you start to move back into realizing that is what I was looking for. And in the 60s, they used to have an expression, you are what you seek. You are what you seek. Everything you are seeking, love, joy, peace, harmony, strength, all that is actually the nature of your being. So you settle into that, and at that stage, you start to really appreciate and settle into the spiritual life. And the spiritual life is what? Settling into spirit. You settle into the spirit of your being. Now what starts to happen? Now you get into the mystical stuff. All what the mystics wrote about, all what most people talk about is spirituality, because they skip this whole first steps, which is the most important. What happens is, at some point, maybe it takes years, you live in that Shakti flow for long enough, and you don't come out. You go about your business in the world, but you're living off this energy. That's what's feeding you. If you meet somebody and you feel love, it's no different than what you were feeling before you met them. Just a little more. It stimulates the flow of love that you were always feeling. So you enjoy that. You appreciate that. You say thank you. You don't like grab the person, have to own them because you never had love before, and now in their presence you feel love, and so you start getting grabby and possessive and needy and all that. That doesn't happen. You don't have to not do that. You have to go to a course and learn how not to be needy and grabby. You won't be needy and grabby. Why? You don't need anything. Thank you. That's what you'll say to the person. Thank you. If they stay, that's nice. If they don't, that's fine. All that's happening is they're just stimulating the flow of love that you already experience inside your own being. It's fine. So what happens is you are now completely centered. It's called being established in the self. That's the word. Not enlightened. Established within the self. Do you see that? You now are drawn into the center of your being. Why? Because it's so beautiful. Over time, your next phase is as follows. You will live there long enough to where you become very detached, very free of the different dance that's going on in the world around you. You participate. Isn't it amazing? It sounds so different what I'm talking about. Every time I say something, I could quote the Bible. That is what's meant to be in the world, but not of it. That's what's meant by that. You are in the world, but you're not of it. You are centered within your own being. You are being fed. Another quote in the Bible talks about this. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. You go to the state I'm talking about, you will know exactly what that's talking about. You used to get your joy and your shot of energy off of what was going on in the world. You were living off of her saying she loved you. You were living off of you got the raise. You were living off that you got the job. You were living off the fact you're feeding. Where the food's coming from is outside. Now all of a sudden the food's coming from inside. It's just spontaneous, the same food, except it's just welling up inside constantly. That's what's meant by that. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. So net result is, now what happens? You live long enough in that flow of energy. You become detached enough, removed enough, free enough of the changes and the ever-changing dance of the world. They are not affecting your flow of energy. And at some point, I don't care how long it takes, without your mind, it'll just be intuitive within your own being, you're going to wonder where this energy comes from. You've been being fed by all this love, all this strength. From where? I'm feeling these rushes of energy. I'm feeling all this beauty. Where is it coming from? And what you will do is lean back a little further, and you will feel it coming in behind you. Literally like you would feel water flowing behind you when you're standing in a spring or something, or the ocean. You can tell what direction it's coming from. It comes behind you. You feel it flowing. You will feel this flowing in behind you, pushing on you. Over time, you will learn the source of where it's coming from is to lean into where it's coming from. If you feel a spring pushing in your back and you want to know where the spring's coming from, keep leaning back into the direction the water's flowing from. You start to lean back into this Shakti. You just rest. Same as you got out of your mind, now you go beyond being established within the individual self, within what we call the Atman, within the witness. You lean back. You will feel the energy get stronger and stronger as you lean back into it. There's no thinking, there's no mind, there's no concepts, there's no views. It's just an intuitive, energetic thing. And as you lean back into it, it expands. And you start realizing all that was happening is all this energy was coming to a focal point, which was me. My consciousness was settling down to a focal point, and then I was looking out into the mind and the world from that focal point. As I lean back, I am transcending that focal point. I'm leaning back into the spread, the broad energy before it focused. Now you're starting to get into what the mystics talked about.